Hello, good morning, good morning. Welcome back to the stream, everybody. Welcome. Let's remove this ban over here since it's no longer Friday. Right, so man, I got like a bias in my head that price should move up. You know, because of these Trump submarines, that's what I've been thinking about all morning. But you know, because I've been so fixated on the buys, I actually got faked out. I faked out. I actually went against what we spoke about on the simulation yesterday. You know, because if we're looking at price here, price had so much nicer range down towards like 33.55. I was kind of like forcing issues over here, actually, you know, looking back at it, because we had like, you know, a bunch of resistance over here. But man, I did not expect price. Why did price even come all the way up over there? You know, that's my question. Why did we even come up here? It was just a pure liquidity grab. That's all it was. We actually had it happen. Like, if you look at this right here, this is the same thing that happened right over here. Correct? So you got the candle go down and the candle go up. Candle go down, candle go up. So this is like, it's like making a little salad over here. You know, this is like a mixed salad over here. So this was not good. This was not good. But this would have been a very nice, confluence for the sells. Re-breaking the lows over here. Then I would have used that as a confluence for the sells. Damn. You know, that's a problem. That's a problem sometimes when you're too focused on the fundamentals. And you know the price is not doing what you really want it to do. But you're like, nah, price should go up here. But I'm still getting a bullish bias as of right now. I'm considering some buys above, you know, like some resistance over here. But I just have to wait and see how candlesticks are about to close. Because, you know, we're still moving up. The only thing I'm not comfortable with, that daily still needs to flip. You know, well, like a doji candlestick here. The daily has created the daily lows. Now I'm waiting for it to create, like, you know, continue to move up here. It's created the daily lows. So I want to see price reflip. Break these highs because this is the range that I've been looking at since yesterday. It's about, you know, 334.30, about a 648 pip range. That's what I've been focused on. So, you know, daily's about to flip here. Daily's about to flip. So let me actually see where this daily flip is. Let's do this. So we got the candlestick body right here. Go on the 5-minute. All right, so we'll just be above this area over here. We're gonna be getting daily flip confluence, and that's I would take a buy if maybe we can create like some kind of a support. You know, maybe we could create some kind of a support over here. It's got about 1 minute 40 for this 5-minute candlestick here to close. Should remain valid until about the next hourly candlestick at least. Now from here to here, got about 17 pip range. It's not that much. Do you win or lose? Oh yeah, chat. So chat was right for NFP. Looks like I was trying to outsmart the market. Chat said longs. I said shorts because I was trying to be outsmarting the market over here. But every time you try to outsmart the market, I guess you'll just take that loss, eh? So yeah, looks like chat won this one. Chat won this one. So we did have the massive longs over here. I think the 1-minute candle there did like about 100 pips when it started to move upwards. So I didn't trade the NFP. I saw this afterwards. Yeah, like 100 pips on a minute. And the beautiful thing, look at this, respected 3300 psychological mark over here. Right to the T, 3300 was respected. You know, beautiful. No manipulation, no crazy wicks and that sort of thing. It just went straight up. Also, it was in line with the forex factory sentiment. So I think, man, a lot of people made some good money here. A lot of gamblers made some good money over there. But this is what I'm trying to avoid is a London Open fake out. Correct? So we've just created a new higher high. I think I would kind of like the market to prove to me that it wants to keep moving up here. The massive push. Boom. This morning was a robbery. Yeah, this morning was a sketchy. This morning was sketchy. Also, if you look at these little pullbacks here, look again, another pullback. Why pull back to take these highs just so you can come down? It's like, really, gold? Does this even make any sense? You know, does this even make any sense? Come all the way up here just to slightly take these highs so it can push down again. It's like, it does, it's doing a lot. It's doing a lot. So yeah, I'm gonna be chilling over here. I'm gonna be waiting and seeing what's happening. Gold could notch new record highs amid US concern. Gold prices could reach an all-time high over the next few months, according to Citi. The bank upgrades its near-term price forecast to 3,500. Let's go. From 3,300 previously. Yeah, 3,300, pretty strong zone. It expects gold to trade between 3,300 and 3,600 in the coming 3 months. It previously focused a range of 31 to 35. The near-term US fiscal growth and inflation outlook has worsened of late. Higher tariffs than we expected are likely to result in higher US inflation. The US labor market continues to weaken. The Fed/data independence concerns have risen. That all means another leg higher for gold is increasingly likely. So you heard it here first, folks. See, I got a sell from top, close it by mistake. I have closed all bottom, then I just didn't hold enough. Ooh, and it was a nice dump. It was a nice dump. So yeah, we're gonna wait. I think I'm gonna wait. It's kind of squeezing a buy, but I really do feel like price should go up. You know, that's how I feel. And it's like the daily flip as well by 33.62. So why not? Get that daily flip volume. SMA confluence there on the daily. Clean range on the upside. But I don't know. This stop loss here is gonna be yeah, this is gonna be too big. It's gonna be too big for this range. It pulled down quite aggressively. A little more aggressive than I would like. You know, the thing is also to keep in mind, it's the beginning of the month over here. So we're just in the first week of the new monthly candlestick. So as we're in the first week of the new monthly candle, markets might need to be setting up a bit more. So we might actually end up having a situation where we just range by Asia highs and Asia lows. Hey, what's up, Elton? I hope we have the same analysis today. What's your analysis? I was thinking about buys above resistance, but this is... It's not looking too good because of the pullback. Pretty strong pullback here. It is not trending enough for me. Like, since a daily open over here, we've just been hovering. You know, we're currently at negative 0.08%. So, let's see over here. Blue Ocean on TradingView. Real-time access. There's Blue Ocean. Yeah, buys look good. No setups though. Let's see over here. Yeah, the line is the daily open, right above that high. I think the runner will be a buy, but I never hold that long. I just need my 10 to 20 pips. But it's hesitating a lot. See how price hesitated over here? That's coming back up and it's hesitating again to move up. That's what I don't like. It looks like GJ. Looks like GJ here on 200 level. See like how GJ also hesitated here by 200 zone. Similar kind of like structure as this. Similar structure like over here. You can see the rejections. You can see the resistance. The slowness in volume. And then also kind of same thing happened, you know. Price moved down. Price moved down here on gold as well. Couldn't break above this resistance by 33.62. Or retesting it again. That's a really nice range here though, considering like a sell. 33.53. Support. I would love to see those buys though. Hey, what's up, Ruben? What's up, Nani? Oh, let's start off by saying Zolio's right and the coin flip. Shit. Log that she. Yeah, now gotta log that she. Let's see, where was it anyway? I think the gulag flip. Let's do emoji, or let's do, how do we log this? 1W. Bullish gold. I'm just gonna put a tick on here. I'm just gonna put a tick on there. Yeah, we got the coin flip here and Zoli. All said buys. Forex Factory said buys. See what happens when you try to outsmart the market, chat? I was outsmarting everything. I was outsmarting the cards, the coin flip, Forex Factory. Took the loss. Well, I didn't actually trade. But I guess, you know, like direction-wise, price did move upwards. Consolidated afterwards. One last push here towards the end of the market close, towards market close. And now we're just accumulating again. I think just because the move was so big that price now has to accumulate orders to keep moving up. Moje. Good morning, good morning. See, 1 minute. Oh, nice little break here. Tight little accumulation. Boom, 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 boom. Break above. Looking for a buy, but it's very tricky. This is like, you know, when skaters approaching a set of stairs, how they're gonna roll with their board and then they're gonna stop and then they're gonna look and see, okay, so how are we gonna do this? You know, how are we gonna jump these steps? So now this is just a run up right now. Run up, stopping, looking at the structure. We're like, okay, so we gotta move from here to here. This is the jump that we have to make. How are we gonna make this jump? Gotta wait for more structure. We'll see how it looks. I don't want to force it. Yeah, the shotgun on the 1 minute look good. Yeah, it did. There's just a small little play over there. Looking for a sell on the daily time frame between 33.8. And 33.73. Wait. Look at that monthly. Already starting to get the monthly wick fills in. It's struggling with that 4-hour resistance. Oh, right. We got some 4-hour resistance here. And we also got by 33.70. Guess we just need to break above this area for the HTF. But man, the daily is so clean to move up. We have created like some kind of 4-hour resistance over here. It looks like it might just tumble. Once it breaks these lows by 33.58. I see the struggle. The daily flip is also on that 4-hour resistance. Got a range here. That's about 54 pips below 33.58. And these candles didn't even have a top wick on them. It just broke above, create new higher high, and then gave the market here like a bit of a whip. Faking back into the range. Oh, damn. Brand new whip. I mean, brand new whip. Week. Got a brand new week. Full of brand new whips. And pips. Good thing is we already had the NFP though. So that's for the rest of the week over here, we don't have anything besides the official bank rate on the pound. We're expecting a 25 basis point cut on Thursday. Yeah, I think that's about it. That's all that I'm really looking forward to. GJ should be on its way down, as we're already kind of like pricing in those potential rate cuts. You can see here on the daily, massive dump with the NFP as well. Over here, crazy. Nice little 400 pip move on the daily. Or rather, you know, whole daily candlestick was about like, you know, 400 pips. It's consolidating here. You know, we got like a support too. But I do anticipate we might come down and take out these lows on the left-hand side. But consolidating right underneath 200. Also, it's important zone because look in Friday, that zone is previous day high and also close. So it's pretty important resistance there. All right, true. Previous daily candlestick closed here by that resistance. So it's an important zone indeed. Indeed it is, sir. And it's so little, you know, like the range here from here to here is also not that much. It's only like 17 pips, 17, 18 pips. So I'm just looking at these cells play out. Maybe it's just doing a bigger whiplash. Because this morning it's been doing a lot of these whiplashes, like taking out highs and pulling down. Taking out highs, pulling down. Taking out high right here, pulling down. So maybe it's just a higher time frame taking out of a high. Basically the same thing, but it's starting from the beginning again. It's starting from the beginning and then that one to push down. So that's a PA on the day. A lot of like back and forth in the market here. No real sense of direction. Daily is down 0.15%. See, gold prices edged down to 33.50 per ounce on Monday after gaining the most in 2 months on Friday, with investors weighing the implications of Trump's looming tariff and the Federal Reserve interest rate outlook. The bullion climbed 2.2%, its largest one-day gain since June 2nd, driven by safe haven demand and growing bets on the interest rate cut. Let's see, the rally was sparked by Trump's announcement of sweeping new tariffs ranging from 10% to 41%. See, on imports from dozen countries, set to take effect August 7th. That's going to be on Thursday. From 10 to 41%. Alright, so let's see. US jobs data showed signs of softening labor market, cementing expectations that the Fed may lower interest rates at its September meeting. Oh, September already. I want to see October. It says cementing expectations. So expectations now on Powell to cut rates possibly in September. You know, and then price can go up. I mean, I still think October, but let's see what happens. Pre-London gold sell, reason for sell, SMA confluence, beautiful kiss of death. Break of resistance inside the range, previous, break of previous lows, closed for take profit around 98%. Oh, nice. Yeah, man, this was a sell I was meant to take. I was meant to take this sell. And it would have been a beautiful sell. Somebody else here got wicked out. Buy on gold. The idea is price come retest 4 hour resistance area in the 5 minute. Rejected from key 5 minute support. Create new structure. Entry at the break of 5 minute. Oh, nice. Beautiful range. Nice little SMA confluence in there. Superfly with the laser shows. We got Superfly here with his laser show. We have a sell. Zero drawdown. Boom. Oh, this is a nut. This is from the NFP over here. Beautiful, beautiful. Got my boy here, Space Angel, doing the due diligence that needs to be done. Most people would never do this much work. Most people will never do this much due diligence. Even investing in anything, you know. But this is just like I guess like a weekly thing. It's pretty nice. I don't know how you have all this information. Like, how do you do it? Can you like scoop it? Can you scoop that information and put it in your head? I wish I could just scoop it, you know? There's so much data there. I just wish I could just scoop it. And it'll stick in my head more. Yeah, but we got price here. Price is moving down. As expected, but I really didn't want to see sells. You know, I didn't want to catch any sells here. I was kind of hoping for more buys, but it is what it is. I guess that was the only kind of setup that could have been playing out over here because of so much resistance within this area. That price did break 33.58 to continue to move down towards 33.53. Little 55 pip ranger. Got it and out. Nice. Yeah, I mean, like, if you want to get a trade, then that would be the only thing. That's the only thing that I see. A little swing entry model. Let's see, do we have any 1 minute plays? Yeah, we even had a 1 minute confirmation over there too. So again, it's just like the, you know, my internet stopped working. Is Zoom still on? Oh, Zoom seems to be still on. All right, we're back. We're back. Yeah, I was saying this was a perfect example of what we did in simulation yesterday. Really nice confluences there. I want to see price move up, but it could be like a small little retracement. Or rather, it might be considering retracing this move from Friday. Well, for that, we need to at least break below 33.44. Pretty massive candlestick over there. Sup, tall trader. Good morning. Four-hour really hasn't moved that much either. Let me see, look at the hourly. Hourly just had a move. That was about a move from this hourly candle already. Man, insane. The hourly also, like, similar thing. Just didn't have the top wick up over here. Got about a 30 minutes for hourly closure. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to take these buys. I don't think these buys are going to be even valid anymore by the time we get up here. But that's a daily flip area. So, man, it's like really struggling. There's a weight on price right over here. No top wick on that hourly, coming downtown towards support on the hourly as well right here. Doing like small little baby wick fill. It's like people want to see this thing skyrocket up too, because we got left shoulder, head, right shoulder. This could have been this could have actually been a really nice skyrocket, because that daily would have flipped back to being bullish with that clean range there on the daily on the left hand side. This could have skyrocketed up nicely. It's kind of like faked out traders over here. Once candlestick closed above those areas, especially on the 5-minute, just ripped all the way back down. But this would have been like the inverted right here. So I guess you kind of get this pattern. You see the volume coming as well, which is quite nice. Kind of confirms that as a right shoulder. Same as this. See that volume start to come in and then distribute. Kind of confirms this as a right shoulder there. So you got for the sells and then for the buys. Kind of a bigger one over here. But man, that looks like it's brutally failing. Holy. Nice little sell-off though. Very clean distribution downwards. So it looks like London session is kind of shifting a little bit. You know, this is what I would typically love to see on London, like just volume and both directions playing out. But you know, for now, I'm just still being a bit cautious with these London sessions. How do I feel about NAS? I think you gotta send a chart in. But on the stock market, I'm predominantly bullish. Question is, do I want to buy with a negative daily candle? Candle is down 0.30%. Oh, 30%. Oh, no, I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait. Let it come down a bit more here. then I'm gonna take my sells. It might, because you know it's the beginning of the month, so we might just be seeing that retracement move first to the downside, because the buys here clearly struggling. Yeah, I'm gonna wait for price. I'm gonna wait for price to come down a bit more. Then I'm gonna see what I'm gonna do. Probably on the next hourly though. Got about like 30 minutes, because this hourly candle has already moved quite a bit. Let's push down here, like, you know, 112 pips. Here we go, Goldie. Yes, man. I want to see gold dump. I want to see it come down a bit more. I want it to prove to me that it does not want to move up here today. You know, maybe today just becomes a bearish day. Got some room over here. Have about a 30 pips. 30 pips below that support. Does it make sense to take a sell? Maybe if we break below 33.50 with some structure. Well, we gotta see how the candle is gonna look when it's coming down there. But I can consider this. It's not a bad range. This range right here, that's about, you know, like 30 pips. It's a 30 pip range. Okay, now I'm buying gold. Now wish me luck. Godspeed, Elton. First, you're thinking about selling gold up here. Now you think about buying gold here. Just like me, I was thinking about buying gold here. Now I'm thinking about selling gold here. So we're like the opposite. Hey, trading. What's good? What's good? I see you just joined the call. I want to see maybe if price starts to break below here, how deep that daily is going to be coming now. So you bring this all the way down here, make this nice and tidy. Oh, it's not letting me paste. 3349.94. I could just do this. I feel like this is gonna be a pretty strong pullback. We'll probably need a little bit more structure because I don't like the look of the stop loss as compared to the range that we have. So I would wait first and see how price maybe comes down a bit more, create some structure, and then see what the daily's looking like here. As it's coming or heading down towards the entry, I want to see how far in the daily is going to be coming. $53 was respected minus the wick. Oh yeah, that's a candlestick body here by a support. So we've just created a new support here by 33.53. So this is kind of like the area that it's bouncing in between. So for me, this area just signify like it shows me that there's no direction really. Because you got the Asia high, Asia lows. Still kind of like in the middle. Then you got the market open right here. Down negative 0.20%. Hey, what's up, Derek? Doing well, doing well. Yeah, it should be a good week. Should be a good month. Here in blues. Always a good sign to see blues. Blues is always a good sign. You know, it means that the trade idea is playing out. The moment you start to see reds, yeah, at that point you're thinking, how can I reduce my stop loss? It's a relief to see blues. Like, I think it was the last trade we did on the sim yesterday. I nearly got stopped out. Like, price came like this, almost stopping me out, and it was such a relief to see it just go back into blues. I was like, yes. Because, you know, like, once you see blues after a deep drawdown, for example, you're like, okay, so this is... And it's like a fast blues. When it comes into it, like, quite quickly, you're like, okay, wow, you know, this is a move here. We've survived the worst. Most of the time, these types of trades, they do end up playing out. Usually the trades which you lose, they never really put you into blues, especially not that aggressively. They'll just maybe come up here, maybe give you like a small break even, or just still kind of red and then continue going up against you. So there are these very intrinsic things that the market does, you know? Like, the more you watch it, you really observe your winning and losing trades, these very intrinsic things that they all have in common. You know, like, for example, if you get like a wick, let's say if you take like a buy like this, and then price just comes straight down, most of the time those are losing trades. You know, very quick rejections off those areas. Most of the time, those are losing trades. Yeah, I think the good thing about your buy idea is you got plenty of room over here. You know, if price wants to keep moving up, got about like 45 pips towards 33.61. No. It would be quite nice to see two swing entry models play out here, though. If it doesn't come down, little break, sell off, little buy, skyrocket. That's actually my favorite setup. If candle closed that higher low, HL minute 5, then of course I am not selling. That would be invalid. Let's see what ranges we got here on GJ. GJ needs to break above a 190, 196, 464. But even that range up there doesn't look very nice. It's kind of wicky. You got a bunch of wicks here because it's a higher time frame move. Well, on the 15-minute, it looks a bit cleaner. It looks like a accumulation breakout to break above this zone. So you got resistance, you got support. It's accumulating orders to break back above and maybe correct some of that move from Friday's NFP. So we're getting a small correction here on GJ towards the upside and on gold. Wow, GJ is actually trending quite nicely. GJ is up on the day 0.40%. I would love to. I wish gold was moving like this right now. Gold is still at 0.20%. Might even contemplate. Gold might, like if we get these sells, if it breaks above here and then fakes out, could be like a nice little confluence. Break above here, fake out, resistance, and then keep coming down. Is there a way to see what percent the daily is going to be if it comes down towards like 33.49 here, chat? Can we somehow see this? This is 0. Oh, okay. Okay. So from here, 0.14. Okay. So it's like probably 0.37. Close to that 0.40 mark. Oh, how about you draw it from the daily open? I think that's where the daily open is. Oh, that's actually a smart idea. Yeah, that's about 0.38%. 0.38%. Let's see what happens. Because the idea is once it starts to come down here, we should get the direction for the rest of the day potentially. For price to continue to move or push bearish. Because right now it's like, 50-50. Right over here. 50-50. Like if price can still break these highs and candlesticks can continue to move up here. Things are skyrocket right now. Setting something beautiful up. Oh, accumulation doesn't look good. I thought accumulation would look nicer than that. There's hella volume in this 5-minute. Well, I think my internet's going off again. Why is my trade? Anybody else have this issue with TradingView, like how TradingView normally does this? Imagine it does this in the middle of a freaking trade. How annoying would that be? Just like when you're about to get in, and then it does that, and then when it comes back, yeah, it's like probably like 20 pips in profit. Fucking hell, TradingView. Not even a brokerage, it's just TradingView here. I understand this happening on the broker from time to time, but I think the only way to avoid this is not switching the time frames. Yeah, you had to reinstall it. I think I'm gonna do that. I already cleared the cache on the settings over here, but that doesn't seem to have helped too much. Disable hardware acceleration. No, I think it's good hardware acceleration's on. It makes it faster. Yeah, this is gonna be a real tricky one here. For price to come down towards 33.49 to get some direction. Always does that to you as well. Yeah, if you switch the time frames a lot. But I think the app works a lot better than the... well, I got a better experience using the app than the browser. You know what I think it is? I think people are looking for buys today. People are looking for buys today, so the market is gonna look for retracements to the downside more. I think people are trying to force these buys. But technically, we might just be needing the monthly candle, some kind of retracement first. Of not the monthly, but maybe on the 4-hour. So it's kind of indecisive here. The previous 4-hour candles, we've just been holding this general area. You got resistance and you got this wick over here, and you know, we're just bouncing in between these two highs, high and low. That's what I'm thinking, like, even if I get a sell here, even if my sell comes all the way down over here, I'll be anticipating that the HTF can continue to push. You know, then we're gonna get like a situation like this, where the 4-hour can keep pushing beyond this support area over here. And then maybe it's gonna consider filling some of this range from Friday. So on the 4-hour it makes sense. On the 4-hour time frame it makes sense once candlesticks do start breaking below previous 4-hour lows. So the entry would essentially be the break of the previous 4-hour low to continue pushing down. And by the looks of it, this 4-hour candle hasn't yet had its move. You know, this one here had its move, but this one has not had its move. So, you know, just to give you perspective on the range, like if you're looking at how this one moved and what this one is capable of, we could very well see some kind of retracement by 33.40. You know, why not? Why not if it's struggling to move up there? Because I think if the daily wanted to move up, it was already at the daily flip. You know, London session, daily flip. It would have been nice for the daily to already move up. Let's see if price can actually come down for me. Otherwise, just gonna respect the support over here by 33.53. You know, then maybe it just breaks above here and then kind of bounces in between these two ranges. That could also be a thing. Because London session, we've still been expecting consolidation from the London sessions. So it could still bounce here and then end up doing something like this up until pre-New York NY Open. Get that little bit of a sideways movement in. But if it starts to break below support, then I think then we can see more of a trend. It's also from 3360. Nice. Fundamentals say it buys, but chart is not accepting. Yes. I still don't want to buy here because I've been seeing the buyers have been getting faked out so far since London. Buyers have been getting more faked out since pre-London. See, gold futures rise, defending gains made by weak US jobs data. Gold futures rise, holding higher levels after surging Friday on weak US jobs data and trade tariffs. Futures are up 0.2% at 34.07 a troy ounce. Our last 5 minutes have just been ping-ponging 30 pips back and forth. Yeah, and it's thinking about buys above that zone. Can I take a buy here? Should I just take a buy here because I want to see price move up. You know, I want to see price move up though. That's been my whole idea since this morning, was for price to move up. Bang, because that daily flip, if we get that daily flip, that's going to be really good. The only sells I'm seeing is below here. There is potential, even just these are just even potential sells. 33.49, but the buys are setting up. They're starting to set up more and more and more. Well, price action is king. Yes. It's not a bad buy. It's a pretty good setup there. And the setup is nice. Just got some SMAs. Yeah, I'm just gonna watch it. I'm gonna watch it. I would have liked if the daily was a bit more bullish, but the daily is still down 0.20%. Because to me, this is what I'm thinking. You know, price had moved up so aggressively on Friday, and it's still somewhat trying to move up. But you know, since it's the beginning of the week, it's the beginning of the month. Like technically, yes, the trade is there, and you know, it looks pretty good. But I think like underneath that is that retracements. These kind of like retracements price wants to do. That's why price has always been kind of pushing up here and then coming down, pushing up here and then coming down. It just might be the HTF trying to pull down. At least because this is why Mondays, you know, Mondays sometimes can be a little bit tricky like this. Because the setups can look good, but it could just be a higher time frame still coming down to create the lows first. That's the only thing I'm considering. Pretty nice discount though on the daily, because if we're down 0.20 and this thing rips up, it's going to be heading towards the daily flip. It's about a 60 pips away. New 4 hour in 5 minutes, UTC +2. We're gonna get new 4 hour open. Okay. This one closing in 2 hours. New 4 hour open, new hourly candlestick open. Fresh new opportunity about to roll in. On the next hourly candle, because this one already had one move to the downside. So new hourly candle is about to open up here. See how that hourly looks again here. It's like, oh man, that's such a nasty move here from NFP. But surely, you know, this can create like some sort of imbalance for a sort of correction. Beautiful little accumulation here as well. This is setting up really nice. I do like the way it looks overall, structurally speaking, for the buys. Even trend-wise, you know, since Friday over here, it's just been moving up. Sorry, close, break above this 8 SMA. If we could just also respect that 8 SMA, that would look pretty nice. If candlestick could continue moving up. It's just got to get through the other high time frame SMAs. That's another thing which is like kind of putting me off a little bit about the buys. Yeah, let Monday just set up. Let Monday set up. Because, you know, sometimes on Monday you rush these things and then you realize afterwards the market just needed to create the... it just needed to retrace on the HTF first. So if I try to buy this morning, the buy didn't work out. You know, I was considering a buy here, and the buy still didn't work out, and then price retraced. It could just be a forcing issue on the buys. And the daily is also down 0.20%. Keep in mind, pre-London is also known as Frankfurt and Switzerland, aka Germany and Switzerland. Yeah, I got Frankfurt open over there. I used to trade the Frankfurt open. It doesn't have too much volume in it. I also look forward to the Frankfurt Open. You know, when I look at pre-London, I usually just nowadays I kind of look at it obviously as just a pre-London time where volume is supposed to be coming in pre-London, just the same way as pre-New York time. But it is also like the Asia session. It is still like towards the tail end of Asia, I suppose. Alright, so got the new hourly candlestick here open up. New hourly volume. Let's see what happens here. If it breaks 33.56. Because if it breaks 33.56... I would love for it to break so I can see what happens next. Because if it starts to pull down after breaking it, then I'll say, okay, you know, I think Monday we're gonna actually just be creating that higher time frame structure first. Even though buys look pretty good, then I think it's just gonna be the HTF structure. Like no matter how good the buys are looking, that the weekly still has to set up. The tricky thing about Mondays when price action is not trending, 0.20% now. I would love to see it break and see what happens. Yeah, accumulation over there too. Monday fun day. I think everyone is lusting for that dump, but that is a dangerous thing. Greed. Oh, for this 4-hour correction, you mean? Yeah, people are looking at that, you know. The market could correct some of it, but it's going to do it in a very difficult way. Obviously, won't do it all in one go. At least I wouldn't be expecting that. See, let me see if we got any magical trend lines here. Okay, so do we have anything interesting? Maybe from here. You can draw this trend line so many different ways. I think this would be the cleanest. So price would be breaking that trend line. Be doing like a small little accumulation breakout there too. Then look for confirmation below here to keep moving down. I have a new strategy backtested with 85% win rate, but only 1 to 6 RR. Oh, only with an 85% win rate, 1 to 6 RR. Get that out of here. That doesn't sound nice. It should be at least a 1 to 5. At least. I think that's awesome, man. That's awesome. Why would you want to even mess with that? I think that's really good. Let's see the hourly. Oh, we'll be heading down to some hourly rejection wicks though. Hourly rejection, but that 4-hour. Let's see how this 4-hour looks on. I'm thinking other brokerages should have already closed. Oh, this one's closing in 56 minutes. We're getting a 4-hour close on Oanda. You got 1 hour 55 minutes here on forex.com. See Pepperstone. Yeah, I think Oanda is the one which is going to close the soonest. Is going to be the next 4-hour close in 55 minutes. It looks like the same structure, to be honest, like on FXCM. Also got that kind of daily resistance area. Really nice range over there. Yeah, think about the market is it's on the HCF, it's still also accumulating here. You have like a support, you got resistance. You know, so if we just tap below the support areas, technically we should be seeing price move up. That's what I'm anticipating. But possibly, you know, we could still have some retracements though before the move up. But predominantly this week here, I'm looking for price to continue moving up towards daily resistance by 34.40. Oh, that's a beautiful little kiss of death here on the 5-minute. Previous 5-minute rejected that 8 SMA. Just need to re-break the highs. Sheesh, this Goldie is cooking right now, Chad. It is cooking. It might be cooking up a skyrocket because you're going to look back at hindsight. You know, you're going to look back at hindsight and say, okay, you know, like any sort of buy that comes out of in the next in the next on this hourly candle, if you see something like this, you're gonna look back and say, okay, you know, it made sense. The move came out from here, correct? So Goldie right now is definitely at a point A, and it's cooking something up right here. Right here, you know, it would just need to break above that wick over there to give it a better probability that price can move up. So if it breaks these highs, at least it increases the variables a bit more for you that price can move up. You know, but whatever we're about to see right here, it's gonna come out of this zone. Might even get it come out from the bottom side like this. I kind of hate my entry, to be honest, but it's like I gotta wait for price. If I'm gonna wait for a trending market, then I need to get some direction first, correct? So yeah, I would need to wait for price to come first down, because I want to avoid as much of the whiplash. You know, the markets have been kind of whiplashing a bit because we haven't yet had really that direction kick in, since it's just the beginning of the month here, beginning of the week as well. So we've just been whiplashing quite a lot back and forth. You can see these whips. Now the whip right here. So this whip would actually be a good confluence for price to rip up as well. But what I'm anticipating, I'm just being very cautious here, because what I think would happen, it could happen, which would be nice if I was to avoid this, and then price comes down like this, then I'm going to be like, okay, we just need to get more of that direction in. And it's going to look like a left shoulder, head, and right shoulder, and then price can come down. But let's see what happens here. It's all a waiting game. You're buying? Godspeed. Can also go drastically down. Yeah, if we get a fakie over here. You think it's cooking to jump up? Oh, definitely cooking though. Because that daily looks so awesome, you know. It's just like the beginning of the week over here. But that's why I think for direction wise, if we don't get it now, it's probably gonna come in pre NY open as per usual. Well, the daily looks so good. This is really what I wanted to catch this morning was a daily, because we also get direction during pre-London time. So I assume we're gonna get that direction, and then we'd get the reflip of the daily, and then price can keep moving up. All right, let's cook gold. 4-hour SMA crossing as well. Oh, nice. Yeah, 4-hour SMA here crossover. Four-hour crossover. This is intraday timeframes have them like we're still trading below them. Hourly, 30-minute, 15-minute, 5-minute is finally pushing up a little bit more.
Bomba.
Man, Goldie's cooking right now, chat. It's cooking. It's cooking. It's getting ready for, I think, what should be a big move. What I would anticipate would be a significant move, especially if we get if there's a fake out that first comes in. If there's a fake out, let's say if it moves up and then down. Dumb, I don't like this pattern. It's called symmetrical triangle and most often happens to sell. Oh. What's the chart bias? Oh, chat's bias. Yeah, what's a chat's bias? Write down buy or sell from this area. What's your bias? Because it's about to move from here. It's, you know, when you take a trade, don't think too much about the trade being like a bad trade. You know, it's just a probability. That's all you got to think of trading. Is what was the probability that your buy would have worked out or your sell would have worked out in this area. And then, you know, then you're going to move on to the next zone. Because this is one area. There's one area. Then the market's going to move and give you another area somewhere else. And you just have to get good at making the right decisions, correct? So if this is, I think if you oversimplify it, you can say 50-50. But you know, you have to get first to this point. You at least have to give yourself the opportunity to get to the 50-50 point. You know, at least, because most of the time you get caught in these random moves. Most of the time you're trading random moves. But you need to be in areas in the market where you can give yourself a higher probability of one thing happening over the other. Because right now it's 50-50. You know, if it breaks these highs, then that's going to increase the probability for buys a bit more. Maybe you can say, like, I don't know. It will depend on you. But for me, I feel like there's a lot of stuff happening in the background right now that we've already spoken about. But it should increase the probabilities for buys if it breaks above those highs. Call it. All right, so let's see. Buy, buy, neutral, sell. My bias is buy. Sell, sell. Sounds like chat's consolidating as well. We got even number of buys and sells. Already see nice increasing probabilities here as it's breaking above the highs. So for me, I'm sitting out. I'm just being a bit more patient here with my trades. Yeah, it could just range. We could just be seeing these trades play out in a range, to be honest. If that's a market environment, maybe it breaks these highs, come up to the highs here again, and then come back down somewhat, and then just continue ranging. Yeah, but I'm gonna be patient. I've learned this London, man. This London session here, it's yet to prove to me. I still want to see more clean follow-throughs, even when the market is not trending. But we got the wheels of probability here spinning. No direction yet on the daily. You gotta trade like a sniper. You know, give yourself just a few shots in the day. Don't overtrade. Just be okay with waiting. You can do a lot of damage with less trades. GJ, yeah, nothing too much on GJ. It's still trying to move up there. It's a liquidity grab that I would love to see if that's a liquidity grab. And then if it breaks below here, then I can say, okay, you know, most likely for this Monday, we're gonna pull down. Because the thing is, if it moves up now, then this is just a range. Then that means we're just gonna hold and London is not gonna trend. But it's still early London time. This is like the second hourly candle, so we could still be seeing some significant movement. There we go. Spartans! Let's see. It's not a bad idea, to be honest. Get that continuation in. No wick on the previous bearish 30-minute. No, we got some wicks. I think, yeah, 30-minute looks good. 30-minute creates support. Oh, the top. Yeah, exactly. The top, no top wicks. Still need to push up about much 47 pips. 49 pips. It's fighting the SMAs a little bit there. There's some small reactions. The 15-minute, 30-minute too. Oh, we got 12 minutes for the 30 closure. Do you go for fixed RR or does it change with every trade? No, I go for percent. So, you know, I'm aiming to get, in a day, my target is usually like 2%. Anything like 2% is pretty nice. And then anything above 2% is like bonus. But yeah, 2% is the target. The risk is around 1 to 1.5% per trade. How is a breakout of the previous 5 high not a buy for you? It is a buy. It's like, structurally speaking, it's a buy. It's a valid buy. It's moving with the, you know, it's moving with the trend, how we've been moving of late. Price action has been bullish. I think the thing that's putting me off was just the market struggling with the buys from the pre-London session. That's the only thing that's putting me off. But structurally speaking, you know, it does look good. It does look good. I would prefer if the daily was kind of more bullish as well. Because the daily right now is down negative 0.14%. I want to see this daily flip. You know, that was the whole idea behind my buy bias this morning, is to see the daily flip. But you see, it's been hovering here for such a long time. So it's been kind of putting me off, because typically what I see is from that pre-London time, if we're going to move, then it would have already started moving by now. You know, but the daily is still sitting here with some weights on it. It's still sitting bearish. And it's also the beginning of the week and the beginning of the month. So I was anticipating it could be one of those scenarios where the 4 hour could just pull down a bit more before we actually start breaking above these highs properly. Because, you know, for the market to set up like this, that's not a lot of time. Like, it can just do this and then still make that move later. It doesn't necessarily have to start pushing above it now. But we got the 4 hours starting to reflip a little bit more here. Hey, Studies Corner. It's just playing the range at this point then. You know, you got support, little liquidity grab situation below support, and then you got resistance. So it's probably just playing the range, trying to accumulate more orders in here till like pre-New York. Maybe till pre-New York, it's going to attempt to break above these highs again. Like properly break those highs and then get that daily trend in. Can you see GJ? Yeah, GJ's been trying to get above this area. It's been fighting with that 8 SMA. It's at 0.44%. GJ, very nice, like clean traffic here on the left-hand side on the hourly. So we also had some sells happen on GJ. This was the same time as the NFP. NFP time over here, we had some volume come in. And then price moved bearish. So GJ is looking at a potential corrective move here. It's good on the daily. It's very nice. Very nice for price to move up. So I think the next level you want to be looking at here is on the 30-minute. You have like a resistance by 196.647 and some lower time frame resistance zones here. But I would expect like smooth sailing on GJ once you start breaking above that area. You'll also be above that 196.600 level, or let's say 196.700 right over here. And then maybe for the rest of the day, we can see GJ move up a little bit more. All right, so gold is still pushing. Looks like that was a move. So remember what I said, like there's gonna be a move. If there's gonna be a move, it was coming outside of this within this zone. So this was the point A. It looks like the move was a buys because the probabilities increase in the favor of the buys a bit more, whilst price started to break above those highs. Nice. It's back to back swing entry models. One sell off here, one buy here, and we're just playing the range. Ranger danger. What put me off was that the 50 SMA. Yeah, if those SMAs, that's why I'm looking at PA most of the time. Like I want to see that PA line up first, and then SMAs you can just use as additional confluence. But when the PA is not lining up, and you don't feel confident about the PA, then obviously what happens is the SMAs also start to play a bit of an effect on the psychology as well. Because then your brain is making more reasons for not taking the trade. You know, because you already know deep down that the candlesticks are not lining up the way you want them to line up. But usually when those line up, you easily like start to overlook the SMAs too. But yeah, it's a pretty good trade. It's a pretty nice trade. For me, trading is more than just catching the trade. You know, I want to somehow take it with the way I feel that it should be taken. You know, but at the same time, you know, I try to be as objective as possible most of the time. So that's why I was still looking at this whole zone here as a potential for definitely some kind of move. You know, maybe it's just not the exact move that I wanted to take. But, you know, anyway, it still played out. So even if it faked out, that would also still been okay. And, you know, we got a whole freaking month here. Man, last month I took like 51 trades. So I'm not held up about this trade at all. Because, man, God knows how many trades we do this month. But, you know, on average, you're looking at maybe like 30 trades. At least 30 trades. Like maybe 25, 30 trades without over trading too much. So you mustn't marry an idea. You mustn't feel like you're missing out. There's so many opportunities, it's ridiculous. It's honestly absurd. So if you come from a mindset of abundance, then you never feel like you're missing out. You know, because the next trade is right around the corner. Just like if you take a winning trade here, the next win is right around the corner, or the next loss is right around the corner. So if you can't fixate too much on this, because you might give it back on the next one, or you could stack up on top of it on the next one too. But right now we're down negative 0.10%. Looks like it was quite difficult for it to come towards like 33.49. Maybe we're reattempting those daily flips over here by 33.62. Getting closer and inching closer and closer. Just about 33 pips away now. Closer and closer we are going there. Hey, Thomas, thank you for the sub. For a couple of days, I'm regular on your stream and observed that you trade clean traffic till 5-minute support and resistance. What is the reason that you did not take trade today? Oh, no, it was more of a complicated reason. You know, it's more just because the month here is starting off. It's just the beginning of the month, beginning of the week. Just kind of like slowly easing into it, pretty much. But yeah, I guess structurally, exactly as you said, you know, that was the idea for price to move up. Yeah, so I basically taking it easy. Basically just taking it easy. Because, you know, sometimes I want to get like an easy trade. Usually like an easy trade for me is a trade where I first see a fake out. So whenever I want an easy trade, I usually wait for a trade to first do like a fake out. You know, so I was kind of hoping to get an easy trade like this. Even though this would have, technically speaking, confirmed probabilities for a buy, it's not 100% probability. There's always a probability that trade loses. So if that trade was going to lose and come down like this, then I would have been like happier to take the sell down here. And then we would have gotten like a very nice direction there on the daily and the 4 hour. So, you know, like that could have gone either way. You know, I could have just taken the buy here and still had that winning trade. But in the off chance that it was going to be a losing position, I would really have liked to just have stuck with my taking it easy idea more so than I would have wanted to catch the buy, if that makes sense. So nothing more than just a personal thing, personal risk perspective. I just finished up a backtesting session, 34% win rate with an average of, with an average win of a 1 to 7. Holy. Nice. Very nice. Yeah, you gotta see also your risk then. You gotta see how much are you risking before you get a 1 to 7. And then you have to consider how many trades are you taking. How does your cluster of losing and bad trades, you know, how does a cluster of losing and bad trades look? Because if you have like a huge cluster of, let's say, losing trades, because obviously you will with a 1 to 7, hence the lower win rate. So what happens if you miss this day? You know, what if something happens that you miss this win over here? Can you get back-to-back 1 to 7s? Or does that mean that theoretically you're going to have to go on a cluster of another losing trades? So that means that this will become all losses as well. So you're going to have a long streak of losing trades before you hit the 1 to 7. So, you know, there's a few things that you just got to ask yourself. Because when you're backtesting, you're sitting here and you have the right conditions, correct? But on a day-to-day basis, you know, you're only human. You might miss some days, or some days maybe you're going to overanalyze something and miss the trade because something didn't line up the way you thought it was going to line up. So there are a few other psychological aspects, but on paper, it's good to have that data though. At least it's a foundation for you now that you can work on the psychology part of actually foretesting that. Because now there's going to be things about patience, you know, patience is going to come in. Like, how long are you okay with waiting before you get those moves? Because let me be honest with you, the market doesn't always give such great opportunities. Because if you're looking at the market as a whole in general, it's mainly consolidating. Like 90% of the time is consolidating. So now you got to ask yourself again, do you need this strategy to work in a trending market? Were you backtesting a trending market? Have you backtested consolidation markets? And how will your cluster of losing trades again now look in a consolidation market? You know, because if you consider markets consolidating, then you're going to get caught in these consolidations, especially if the stop losses are big. You know, now that's another thing to look at. Like, how tight are your stops? Because, you know, I ask these questions because on my trades, for example, imagine this. I take 1 minute entry setups and my stop loss is maybe a maximum 16.5 pips. But I also don't regularly see 1 to 7 risk reward. And mind you, when I'm taking a trade on the 1 minute time frame, I'm basically catching the move. Like on a higher time frame perspective, it wouldn't make sense to you. So I'm catching a very nice entry. You know, mind you, it's a very nice entry, but I still don't typically would expect to see such a high return on investment. Mind you, this is a good entry. You know, it's a good entry with confluence because like on the 1 minute, we wait for some kind of structure to be formed. And if there's no structure, something that we can execute based off, then it's going to look something more random, you know? It's going to be more random. And now you're diving into other concepts, maybe like FVGs, maybe Fibonacci retracements. So, man, I think usually it's pretty good thing to understand also how other people trade. Because if you understand how other people trade, you really start to like box in the market. See, I think that's where people sometimes go wrong with their backtesting. They don't consider how other people may be looking at markets. You know, so you can see how other people are making their profits. So someone like here, maybe they trade like fake outs. So they're able to get based off of a fake out. So you're going to see like there's a way you can box in the market when you do your backtesting. So I think the more you knowledge, the more you Lamborghini. Ty Lopez style. The more knowledge, the more Lamborghini. But yeah, I think it's nice. We always do backtesting, bi-weekly backtesting simulations. And then we look at those trades and then we come on here live and say, oh, this is what we talked about yesterday. Then we're going to see it play here in real time. So I'm going to try upload the simulation from yesterday today so you can watch this. So we've got quite a lot of setups here that have happened. Pretty much quite identical to the way we did that session. Because we only did 1 day yesterday. We only did 1 day. It's quite a similar thing here. Back to back. Yeah, I mean, it's a grueling process, you know, because look, when you have an idea, you want it to be right. You know, you want it to be right so bad, but what you should focus on is proving yourself wrong, you know, so you can really put the strategy through these trials and tribulations, you know, because otherwise you're going to kind of cloud your judgment. You know, you got to kind of like play the devil's advocate when you're doing your research, so you can remain as objective as possible. You know, it's like owning a business. If someone asks you, like, if you own a pizza restaurant, they ask you, like, you know, how's your pizza? You're gonna say it's the best pizza in the world. You know, you're gonna be very subjective because it's your pizza. So you gotta really put it through trials and tribulations. You know, like that pizza joint, what's it called? Papa John's Pizza. You know what Papa John's Pizza did? He had his strategy, but he studied his competitors. He said, okay, these guys here at this restaurant, I like the way they make their cheese. I like the way these guys do their bread. I like the way these guys do their toppings. And he took the best of everything and made Papa John's Pizza. So he was more confident to say that this is the best pizza because he's using all the ingredients and everything that's working on all the other setups. So trading is kind of the same way. You know, you're going to have your pizza base, and then you want to start building on, even if it's just confluence that you're using from other strategies, to build a very nice pizza, if that makes sense. So don't be too arrogant. You know, always be willing to learn from people, and you definitely learn something from there. Because the more you line up with these other entry confirmations, the stronger that makes your strategy as well. You know, because like when people make money, we're all making money from the same move, right? It doesn't matter how you got in. Someone could have got in here with a gamble random buy, or something more consistent like an FVG or a support or a Fibonacci. But if that guy is consistently making profits, this guy you don't know somewhere around the world, but you both keep finding yourselves in these same areas, essentially we're all trying to catch the same move, correct? Like this is all that we're trying to catch, all of us. We're just trying to catch these pushes here. Because let's face it, no one's making money inside of these ranges. Who's making money in here, guys? Like, let's be honest, who? You know, maybe if you're hyper scalping, you're in and out, very tight 2-pip stop losses. But this is a very difficult area here to make money. Majority of us retail traders are actually trying to catch the move. Like whenever price moves like this, you know, you could look at your Instagram. Maybe somebody caught the move. You know, some of you guys follow me on Instagram. Whenever we see price move up like this, then you wonder, oh, did we post something? You know, because you're expecting someone would have caught the move. You weren't expecting anybody to catch the move in here, were you? You're expecting everybody to catch something. You know, some people would be losing, some people would be winning. So the whole idea is like, how can you position yourself in these less random areas? You know, and I think that's going to be a lot more satisfactory than taking like a random win. You know, like you take a trade somewhere randomly and it just so happens to be a win. And I think that's where you're going to build consistency. So, yes, sir. I only trade in these zones. What are you aiming if GJ breaks that resistance? Yeah, I think I'm just thinking like in the daily perspective, if GJ breaks 196, 700, then probably it's going to keep moving up bullish. But for me, it seems like Goldie here is just probably just ranging then. There are opportunities in between this area. This is about like a 109 pip range. It's gearing up. It's gearing up. We're going to see what the daily direction is going to be soon. Daily candlestick is down 0.13% though. This is the hardest field in psychology, is knowing yourself, greed, fear, etc. Yes. Yeah, man. Like everything is psychology, you know. Everything. Even just to run a successful business, it's also psychological. You can have the strategy, but you know, sometimes strategy, you gotta like have to adapt the strategy. Just like in the real world, you know, if you got a business and your business is doing really well in the beginning, it doesn't necessarily mean it's just gonna do well forever, you know, because the environment is always changing. So you're always gonna have to adapt. But what people like, I guess, in trading, people are very lazy, you know? People like, they'll just want one thing to be the way it is forever. So they want to learn one thing here and then expect to do it like for years and years and years and years without really changing anything. And we all know that's how businesses die, correct? Businesses which don't change anything, they typically die off. So the market is a beautiful reflection of real life. That's why we say, you know, you gotta run it like a business. So if you take like a trade, you gotta really think about that trade. Is this gonna be a business move? You know, you're gonna make money from this move. You're hungry now. Yeah, I had some pizza. I had some pizza yesterday, so I was like, pizza, Papa John's. This could be a nice comparison. Yeah, but even Papa John's, man, that guy's pizza over there, they changed strategy and it's no longer what it used to be, apparently. Yeah, sometimes you're gonna change strategy for the worst. Sometimes it happens. I'm an AI. Why do you think I am an AI, sir? Can an AI do this? I want Papa John. Yeah, let's see what happens here. You got candlestick about to close like the next 2 minutes. 4 hours about to close as well. I think on Owanda we're getting get the 4 hour candle to close in 17 minutes. Yeah, 4 hours about to close here in 17 minutes. See, it's reflipping. It's like a doji. It's a little bit of indecision within this whole range. This is the range that I really want to see price move away from. If you can just move from this area, that would be awesome. With what we have right now, you can say AI can do anything, leave alone showing muscle. I wonder, you know, the AI is getting so much better, but you can always tell that it's AI. They just need to fix a couple of things. You know, there's a few things that give it away. But it's scary how good it's becoming. Man, they should put AI inside some sort of cybernetics, you know, some kind of exoskeleton. Oh, that would be so cool. Because, you know, exoskeleton, you can program it to do like fighting skills like UFC or Taekwondo or playing the guitar or something like that. And then you can become instantly the best at anything, even playing the piano. You can program the exoskeleton to play Mozart. And you know, you're going to go into a theater with a suit on and no one's going to know. But it's just like, it's moving your body like this. It's going to be like here on your fingers. Like there. And then with your glasses, it can see the piano keys and it can do all the algorithms. And it's just going to move your fingers like this. And it's not going to have a lot of power in it. So it's not going to be like Iron Man. You know, remember Iron Man when they were building the Iron Man suit in the desert and the suit just malfunctioned and just completely turned around. And then that guy died inside of it. So those are things which are actually like very scary to think about exoskeleton suits when the military, the military is always looking at things like this. They're always looking at things like this. Man, whatever military develops that, it's gonna be really sick. Imagine that Russia-Ukraine war with exoskeleton suits. And then you're gonna look at these companies here on the watch list and you're gonna see, okay, what company is creating these suits? Maybe it's a guy like Tony Stark. Maybe Elon Musk should actually look into that. Instead of like Tesla and all of these things, man, with Elon Musk's knowledge, access to resources, and just his general way of thinking about the future, then we could look at, okay, so what is Elon Musk doing? Then that stock is probably gonna go up. I mean, definitely this is gonna be in the future, but it will give opportunity. Tetra flexing his skinny arm. Hey, not skinny, my guy. We're getting there. We're getting there. What put me off the buy was, oh, okay, yeah, the 50 SMA. Saw this kind of exosuits in Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. Yeah, exactly. Military is always way ahead. There's like some freaky robots that develop which can actually do backflips and parkour and stuff. It looks so weird. Area 51 is where all those things are happening. Did you ever see that random picture of a Gordon Ramsay's plane that landed in Area 51? Gordon Ramsay plane. And apparently he even talked about this. Look at this. They kind of lined up everything. I think it was the... This is the air hostess who was working on that jet. I think she spoke about it. Gordon Ramsay's flight attendant raised concerns over his suspicious flight to Area 51. And then they cross-reference like the landscape, the what do you call it? Yeah, the landscape. Imagine Gordon Ramsay going to Area 51 to create like some amazing sushi dish for somebody. All right, Goldie, what are we doing? What are we doing? Are we still distributing? It didn't fully retest this zone. It came really close to coming back into this gulag here, but it did not retest that zone completely yet. But that could have been the... Sometimes people get slippage and, with spread, it could still take people out when it comes like this. Maybe that's a psychological retest before the continuation. So, these are like all concepts that we already know, that we've backtested so many times and we've done so many simulations on these concepts. So it's just all about understanding them. Then you're going to see why certain thing like that is happening. Why candlestick may be pulling down like this. Yeah, have you seen those Chinese AI robots that got some moves? AI is insane. Like, it's honestly ridiculous because it can be applied in the smallest of things. Like even without an exoskeleton suit or like a robot fighting a war for you, just imagine AI and a sniper. Imagine a guy with a sniper sitting on a hill and AI is calculating the wind speed, the distance, everything like this to give him a 100% hit rate. You know, 100% hit rate, one-shot kill, glitch. He's gonna do a cheat code for one-shot kill glitch. Or aimbot. Yeah, exactly. Man, people have been doing that with gaming for ages. You know, like aimbots where people jump into these online games and they get 100% hit rate. And it's just a computer which is like targeting people. It's only like a box. It draws like a box around them. So it doesn't matter if they're behind a wall or whatever it is. Man, the moment the guy sticks his head out, it's like an instant shot. And that's it. One shot, one kill. And that's how people get caught with online gaming when they do aimbots. But you know, they became smarter now. They don't put the software in the game. They put it in the mouse. So, you know, the mouse or something like that now can do the aimbotting. But it's quite obvious still if you get reported that that was an aimbot because it's humanly impossible. But, you know, that's the scary thing about AI. It's like capabilities really far spread. But I don't think in trading that a robot can ever replace a trader. I feel like in the market, there's a lot more variables at play. Whereas something as wind speed and distance, you know, those kind of like, those are the variables which you can somehow work with a lot better. Markets can sometimes be quite random. Especially in situations like this, you know, when you got NFP like this, you usually got to turn the robot off because it wouldn't know if it's on the wrong side of the market, or it might just not know where this volume is coming from. Or at least I've never seen it. I've never seen anybody successfully have a robot. Most successful traders will be trading themselves. You know, they're gonna at least as far as I know, majority of people are trading like earned income. So they actually have to put in the work. They have to come, sit, wait, execute, manage, and just keep doing that. So don't fall for the robot stuff. I've never seen a robot that actually can trade. Even with all this AI stuff going around. Don't fall for it. Have you ever tried automating your strategy? No. No, I haven't. I haven't because, you know, some of the trades that I take are based off of psychology. They're not really 100% always executing on exactly the strategy. You know, because there's always some kind of variable that I can take advantage of. So even if, let's say, strategy-wise speaking, if the setup doesn't look exactly the same, it's just a condition of where the market is. It's the reason that I'm also taking the trade. So maybe you notice that price is really struggling in an area. Maybe you notice that there was a really quick liquidity grab that happened at a key zone that you can say, okay, you know, this is kind of giving you a direction. You know, so that's kind of like sometimes a little bit outside of the box. Because the problem with also being too into the box is that the market also catches up to it sometimes and you can end up getting losing trades. So it's good to have the concept remain the same, but understanding that the market is not always going to look 100% one-to-one. Correct? Like the structure is what it is that you want to see. There's always going to be some sort of variation. That's why I say like every moment in the market is unique. So this is pretty good. You understand the concept of why this is happening and you could see that it happened. All right. So I think like something like this is pretty straightforward. Pretty straightforward. But it's good to become more flexible. Honestly, it's when people are flexible, they actually even make a lot of that money. A lot of these bigger trades, it usually happens out more of a flexibility, because if you're waiting always for a strategy, let's say, remember when Trump became president and price on gold was moving down, but I couldn't get in because my strategy kept holding me back. it kept saying, oh, the stop loss is too big. Oh, the stop loss is too big. So I kept missing these moves because of the strategy. Whereas the psychology of the markets were telling me, man, just like take the sell. You know, when it breaks this key level, just take the sell. Because every time price would consolidate, break a key level, it would sell. When Trump became president, it would consolidate or something for a bit and then break, sell off. Sometimes it didn't even consolidate. Sometimes it would just retrace, break that key area, sell off, retrace, break the key area, and sell off. So as you're waiting for your strategy, right, you're missing on these moves. And that's when the swing entry models were born. It was to give an opportunity to at least get stuck into those moves. Because from a scalping mentality, it's very difficult to get stuck into those moves. Because, you know, when price is in motion, let's say like right now it looks pretty decent, right? But sometimes when price is in motion, it doesn't give you enough structure and it just keeps moving. Have you seen Gbpjpy movie where he transfers consciousness to the robot? I don't think I watched that movie. Gbpjpy? I think I know of Gbpjpy. Oh, Gbpjpy. Oh. This was that movie with the... This is that South African guy. He was the voice actor of Gbpjpy. This is that South African. This oh, they're like brother and sister. Kind of like incest vibes, but yeah, this guys, their music is so weird. I think their name is Die Antwoord, if I'm not mistaken. Might have watched a bit of it. Chat's not moving. Hey, good morning, Mr. Rashid. AI can just assist traders to make better informed decisions on their trades. However, they cannot replace human traders. Yes. They can give very good. I want to develop an AI program which can give you psychological help. You know, like you're gonna tell it what your strategy is by sending pictures of what it is that you want to see in the market and certain conditions of the market. You're gonna feed it with a lot of data, right? So you're gonna feed it just like you would naturally do for yourself. So you're gonna say, okay, this is my entry here. This is the market condition. We just had NFP, and this is how that trade played out. Daily candlestick was negative. Price was consolidating. So you know, it's like it's building that experience, but the AI could help you do it faster. Because like when you do it manually, you have to first build that experience because there's a lot of moving parts here. But the more you do something like say 5 years or you get that 10,000 hours of experience, then you're able to sort of like filter all that information a little bit more efficiently. But that will take time. But how sick would it be to add all that information even for a novice trader to already get to an expert level, like in terms of actually expert level, not just you've learned the strategy and now you're making money, but you're actually getting an actual expert level experience, you know, with AI for someone trading for a few months. So yeah, just feed it with the data of different market environments. That's what I wanna develop. That'll be sick. Because believe it or not, it exists to an extent. You can do this and then send this over to ChatGPT and it will give you some kind of analysis. Like we already had somebody do that here previously and it actually gave some decent analysis. So it's always going to be like some kind of like a confluence, you know? So you're just going to use as confluence. And then you got to make the decision in the end to execute. So it's just like actual manual trading. Because, you know, at the end, you still have to make that decision to execute. But it's the reason you watch streams. The reason you watch streams is to get that confluence to execute on ideas. Yeah, this is the one here. See, chart indicates a potential sell signal. Here's why. Price action. The price has been trending downwards and has recently broke through support level indicated by orange horizontal line at 194.328. So you see, it's like kind of moving in the right direction over here. Disclaimer: I am an AI chatbot and cannot provide financial advice. This information is for educational purposes only and should be taken as a recommendation, should not be taken as a recommendation to buy or sell any financial instrument. See, it's even smart over there. Doesn't want to get banned by YouTube. Somebody quickly record Vic saying that. I don't know what it is that I said, but you can clip it. You can clip it. If you clip the stream, all the clips are gonna end up on my channel as well. So I was showing chat last time that if you clip the stream, it's gonna come here at the bottom. You know, it could help other people out. Maybe if you clip some motivation or some trade ideas or analysis, it should pop here down in the bottom. That's how it's gonna look. Sorry, I gotta zoom in for you guys. See, top community clips. So I got a few clips over here. 1,000 profit. Honestly, when you find yourself like a purpose, the purpose counts more than anything else. Like, it's just... this is like a 19-second clip. Clip it and ship it. Hey Tetra, can you please take a look at monthly chart at silver? Is it worth buying for a 50% gain? It's breaking out nicely. And what will be a good entry? Oh, where's it breaking though? I think you have to send in a chart, you know, because how can I know what it's breaking and what it is that you're looking at? Because it doesn't look so obvious. Maybe if it was like doing a break like this, that would look a bit more obvious. But right now it's not obvious what it's breaking. It's just kind of moving up here. Silver is up 0.88%. Nice. Man, silver is trending today. Let's look at the daily here. Oh, very nice. Clean range on the daily. Silver has been performing quite well of late. As gold has been consolidating, you can see we're moving up on here towards like $50. All-time highs of $50. Silver is performing quite nicely. So I'd say buys on silver would obviously be the thing that you want to catch. Or you'll feel good with the buys today at least. You are on the right side, right? You are going to be on the right side of the market. Then what it looks like silver right now is doing some short-term retracements. It's just pulling down a little bit for potential continuation later. And man, gold is just stuck in the water here. It's consolidating. It's just been moving sideways again. You see, it's like 90% of the time market is consolidating. You see consolidate and then success, such a small piece of it here. And then you gotta wait again. You gotta wait for consolidation. And then, you know, it's either gonna break the consolidation and continue moving up to the daily flip, or it's gonna come back down here and take out some potential buyers from this previous zone. And then all you get is like this small little piece of the cake over here. And you know, sometimes price just keeps moving up. And you know, sometimes then you get a consolidation. I mean, there's different ways trades can play out, to be honest. Sometimes it can go up and then come back straight down. Like, you know, markets only move in these three directions. So yeah, I think what it's doing right now is what I typically like to call a scale-in opportunity. So it's a nice scale-in opportunity if you're taking them based off volume-based plays, which are just accumulation breakouts, because you only have about, from this end to this end, you have about like 15 pips, which doesn't seem like a lot. But when you're thinking about price breaking out of certain areas, it should even disrespect that level and then continue moving up. You know, these levels here, they're meant to get broken. So this would be like a scale-in opportunity from this area over here. And what you're going to see in hindsight was a price consolidating, breaking out, consolidating, breaking out. That's typically what we see in a trending move during the pre-London session. You're going to see price consolidate, breakout, consolidate, breakout. And then before London opens, typically what I expect maybe is a retracement. And then London opens and then continues to move up. Then London does a London open fake out down over here, and then for price to continue moving up bullish. But yeah, that's what it looks like PA is trying to do. It's trying to come up here towards 33.62. Get that daily reflip. Yeah, so Gbpjpy, you got to send. All right, so let me see. Trades taken. Is this? No, that's gold. Tetra analysis is in Discord. Monthly chart. I am talking about monthly chart. Send on Discord. Oh, monthly chart. Yeah, monthly chart should be heading up here towards the all-time highs. I think when you trade like this, you're mainly trading off the fact that silver is moving due to fundamentals. So you're kind of trading off a monthly chart. So let's say you're taking a buy here, you're expecting price to keep moving up. And so you're actually okay. When you take a trade like this, what it is you're saying to yourself is you're okay to wait for this trade to develop up until the next year. You know, because on the monthly chart, it might take some time to come up towards your TP target. So you're going to be holding this only trade on silver for quite a long time. But that is where we're expecting price to be going. All right, so let's take an average here of the previous 3 months. That's 3 months. That's 3. Maybe it takes about, let's say if all goes according to plan, gradually growing 3, 4, maybe 4.5 months. 5 months till you're gonna see your TP over there. That's if price goes straight up, you know. Could still consolidate a bit and then go up later. But I think it's a good idea. Like silver is something that I think also will increase in value in the long term. As we come up to like $50. So I think more importantly, more than this breakout that you're looking at, look at the fundamentals. So let's see. Silver holds gains on Fed rate cut bets. So silver hit around $37 an ounce on Monday after rising nearly 1% in previous session. Markets are now almost fully pricing in Fed cut in September. This is the second time I'm hearing Fed cut in September. We might even get a sooner September chat, but I'm still holding on to my October analysis. With over 63 basis points of easing. 63 basis points of easing expected by end of the year. Wow, that's a big rate cut. That's a big rate cut. The dollar pulls back and falling treasury yields have further buoyed silver's appeal. So yeah, definitely on the right side of the market there, sir. So you're getting a secondary breakout here. NFP liquidated everyone, IG, so should avoid trading and just so where the market decides to go. Yeah, beautiful. Look at this. Breaking out of accumulation here. Starting to push up. Let's see if we can get that daily flip. This is something I've been anticipating all since pre-London session. This daily to just reflip and continue to move up. The accumulation breaky to the upside. Hey, thanks for the 100 likes, guys. Appreciate it. You know, the thing is, like, If gold can just get that daily flipping, even if pre-NY comes around and we're still moving up, could probably get a bumper clout from this. Get that bullish continuation with the daily clean range. But yeah, first entry here is playing out nice. First entry, potential entry, according to the playbook, is playing out nice. 74th like was mine. Thank you, Mohammed. GJ is trying hard. Let me look at GJ. Yeah, GJ is trying hard. It's at real resistance here that it needs to break above. Well, you know, the markets move based off time, so you're getting the SMAs at least catching up a bit better. 30-minute SMAs look good. The 5-minute SMAs also look good. It just needs to keep coming up here. It just needs to break above that resistance. Oh, look at this. Potential whippy. Are you going to buy from 33.62? Oh, 33.62? My initial idea was a buy when we started stream over here, like for price to create a support, a nice support, and then to break this high, so continue reflipping the daily and then buy. So we're coming back into that general zone again, but I'm not touching it now because this range initially that I wanted to buy has now become a higher time frame range. It's no longer a lower time frame range. These are like lower time frame ranges. You see, like this sell idea here and this buy idea here. So lower time frame plays. That's become a HTF play all the way on the left hand side. So yeah, so I think I'm just gonna wait. I would have loved to have seen price at least melt off, but it looks like we respected. I'm liking that whip. Hope it whips down to London low. Yeah, hopefully. That's what I was hoping for. That it can come down towards like Asia lows. But it rejected. Then moved up. Yeah, this is a buy that I would have taken. Actually, you know, if I was just gonna take the setups, I would have already been done about 15 minutes into the stream. It's just what I've been seeing with the London session. I've just been very cautious about the London sessions. And ever since I've been cautious, you know, I've been getting pretty nice trades during London time. So I don't want to lose my streak by going back to my old habits just yet. You know, until it proves to me a bit more that these moves are playing out without a trending bias. Dust can't even win in my absence. Hey, Mr. Woods. Yeah, who was the top fans today? We got Architect number 1. Ooh, I can't read the second name. Titus. Oh, we got Titus here, number 2. Where did Sir Woods go? Has been awfully quiet. Throne has been taken. Man, you know, I was on a stream. I was on a one of these 24-hour streams cause I was bored and they were playing Everybody Hates Chris, which is one of my favorite shows. So let me just watch a little bit of this stream. So watching that stream, I'm like, okay, so they got top fans here, but the top fans had like 14,000 XP. Number 1 had 14,000 XP, which was crazy. You know, I think for a 3-hour stream, we normally peak at around 225 XP, if I'm not mistaken, right, Woods? Well, what's your highest peak on the XP? 500 maybe? I think I always see at 225. I saw like 14,000. It's just insane. $500 was your highest? Yeah, I reckon. Man, man, you know, this range here has been off a swing entry model. This range has been completed like about 100%, roughly like 99%. Range has been completed. So yeah, I guess that was a move. That was only two moves here. It was a buy and there was a sell right over here down towards support. You got a sell off and you got a buy. And now the market is still kind of setting up here. Nice head and shoulders being made in the 5-minute. Oh, in the 5-minute? Yeah, that could be a pretty good head and shoulders, especially with that little fake out that might potentially be happening here above 33.59. So candlestick just broke above. It's already filled the range on the left-hand side. That could be a fake out. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder. And then price to start breaking some key wick lows to keep pushing downwards. Then, yeah, I think like for me, you know, that's the thing about this Monday open here is I'm still wondering if we're going to get some sort of retracement, you know, from that Freaky Friday move up over here. But both setups here kind of fill up the range beautifully. 100% on this one, about 99% on this one. Coulda, shoulda, woulda taken a trade. Man, could have taken that trade. Would have taken that trade. But those are the key words you want to avoid in trading. I woulda, coulda, I shoulda. You know, because you didn't. You didn't. Why didn't you take the trade? You know, if it looked good, someone's asking me, maybe, why not take the trade? Because I just didn't feel like it. You know, and I think that's also okay. As long as you don't play the victim. As long as after the fact, you don't play the victim and you start crying over spilt milk. That, oh man, I should have taken this trade. Then you start beating yourself up about it. You know, I think that's going to be a psychological thing that's going to happen to all of us. Eventually, it's going to happen to all of us. And the market will put you in that position. So you must already prepare for that time. You know, just like how I've already prepared myself psychologically for missing these two moves, you must prepare yourself psychologically for the time when that happens to you. So you don't feel like now you got to chase the market, now you got a revenge trade or like rush the next trade. Just be okay. If you're okay waiting here and here, why are you not okay to just keep waiting until you see what you want to see? The problem with a lot of us is we say, okay, you know, we're going to be patient today. I'm going to be disciplined today. I'm going to miss one move, and then miss another move. And then now you start feeling the FOMO. Now it starts to kick in. Then that's when you start going against what your word was, which was to remain disciplined, remain patient. You know, because of a lot of us say we want to be patient and more disciplined this week. This is the week that I'm going to be patient, right? But the more we keep missing the moves, then it kind of builds up. You know, that tilt, it's going to build up in you. And then you end up taking the dumbest trade out of all the trades which were looking really good. Because now it's like built up to a point where you can't afford missing moves anymore in your head, that you take the dumbest trade. That always happens. That's why you're going to see majority of the time, you're going to see moves play out. And when you take the move, it's a bad move because now you really want to take the move. Correct. So all those risky trades that you thought were risky in your head, now you're going to try a risky trade now because now you want to take the risky trade. Then that's the one that you lose. Because, you know, it's off balance. You're not in sync with the market at that point. So it's always important to know what it is that you're doing. Whether you're coming to execute, whether you're coming to observe. You know, I think it's very important. It's very important. Remember the trade we took on Thursday? I wasn't on stream even 10 minutes I executed on a trade in the first 5-minute candlestick. You know, first 5 minutes because I knew I was coming to stream to execute. So it's not a time to hesitate. And man, I executed immediately. Even got a slippage on my entry, but I still took the trade because I didn't want to miss out on that trade. And it's all about execution. So I don't play the victim later. But today, if I came with execution mindset and then I'm seeing something like this happen, then I'm going to feel a type of way. I'm going to start beating myself about it and saying, oh man, could have had a winning day here today, even if I took the buy. And you know, that's what you're trying to avoid. Because it doesn't do any wonders for your confidence when you do stuff like that. And you should immediately know if you're going to execute. I already knew I was not going to execute because the market was a bit The daily candlestick is what's really putting me off these buys, to be honest with you, chat. Because this daily, I would have loved to see at least flip. Because since a pre-London and Asia time, we haven't had any direction. So that's kind of put me off. One of the greatest traders in the world said once, the best trades are those who aren't took. Oh yeah, the best trades are the ones you didn't take. Yeah, the best trades are the ones you don't take. That's true. But I like Warren Buffett's new quote. Timing the markets is better than time in the markets. So I also like that. Because, you know, the best trades are the ones you didn't take. And guess why you didn't take them? Because trading is 90% waiting. It's 90% sitting on your hands. So you're going to see the best trades. Look at this NFP trade over here. Did you take it? No, you didn't. Probably not. Because, you know, you knew that was gambling. Did you take this trade here? Probably not. Because this was market closure. You know, best trades are the ones you didn't take. Because the market is moving the whole day, you know. After this session here, the market is still going to be moving. And you're going to have so many beautiful moves, but you're not going to be taking them. Just like Warren Buffett says, timing the market is better than time in the markets. If you're not good at sitting on your hands, then, you know, you got to find something else to do. I was AFK. It looks like we're still at the same spot. Yeah, exactly, man. We're still consolidating here. Typical London session. Just bouncing back and forth between this 100 pip range. Oh yeah, that would be sick. We need Warren Buffett bust down photo with a girl in a watch. Yeah, I love it, man, because Warren Buffett is it's pretty old now. So Warren Buffett age. Warren Buffett is 94 years old. Holy smokes. And he's still dropping knowledge, like very nice trading. Like he had like the best exit recently before the stock market crashed. And you know, trading is just one of those skills. Like, man, you're gonna do this for your whole life, even if you wanted to. That's what I love about trading, because you only get better. You know, you only get better, and you don't have any limitations. Even if you don't have, like, psychology does not have limitations. You know, you can do this for a very long time, and you just get better at it. It's like, man, even at 94 years old, this guy is so sharp. Still thinking very clean and very clear. You know, some people, when they're in the 90s, they're already getting dementia. Man, you see Russell, I think, was a guy, this actor, he recently got dementia. It's kind of sad. Damn, I forgot his name. But man, this is insane. 94 years old and still killing and slaughtering the markets and dropping gems. Yeah, it's quite inspiring. Yeah, Bruce Willis. Exactly, Bruce Willis. Man, Bruce Willis got dementia now. Crazy. It's like something like that. 70 years old. So yeah, man, what Warren Buffett does, I think you know what it is. I think the market keeps you on your toes your whole life. So you don't have time to slack. You know, there's always some kind of psychological pressure, you know, especially if you're day trading for a living, your brain cannot afford to slack. That's why I remember yesterday during the simulation, I was a bit tired. I was like, you know, don't trade when you're tired because, you know, you can't think clearly. You really cannot think clearly. But if this is a muscle that you're training on a day-to-day basis, you're still able to perform. You know, we still ended that simulation with like 5%, even if I was like really tired. And that's the thing I love about trading is it keeps you sharp. It's like reading books, you know. Some people who just, you know, live regular lives who love to read, reading books keeps them sharp. So you gotta find something that can keep you sharp. And you know, the less trades you take, the less stress, you know, your trading also has. So you know, you gotta be able to do this for a longer time. But if you're taking like 10 trades a day, man, you're not gonna look like Warren Buffett. You're gonna look like somebody who hasn't had sleep in years with bags under your eyes. You know, because majority of the time it's waiting, correct? So it's a pretty nice job. You know, that's why Warren Buffett still looks young at 94 years old, because he's good at sitting on his hands. Some of you guys are in your 20s and you look like you're in your 40s because you're taking way too many trades. You're getting way too much of life experience in the market. The market is giving you too quick of a life experience, so you're aging faster. So you gotta slow it down a bit. Take it easy. You know, focus on the areas of most value that the market can give you, and then find ways to replicate those. Just watch your psychology vid on point. Can relate to a lot of it. Everyone needs to watch a great vid. Great vid, Vic. Thank you, Jay. I appreciate it. Yeah, I want to do another video on basically structure, where just take a screenshot of structure and then explain the structure, and then cater to more of people who might find streams a bit more fast paced. So just take a picture of this and then really break it down. I hear that, Vic. I'm 34, already bald, and my beard is going gray. Hey. Oh yeah, Bruce Willis didn't remember being an actor. Die-hard actor Bruce Willis. I think routine helps you with living longer. Yes. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, your routine is going to determine your success. So you have to have a good routine, a very good solid routine that you know you're moving correctly. You know, it's the same thing also with gym. You know, I'm still learning with gym. I find gym so interesting, and it's all about moving correct. So you don't want to waste too much time. You want to make the most efficient. Like, all my workouts are at least the top 2 best scientific workouts for triceps, biceps, shoulders, chest. At least top 2. Sometimes I can't get the top 2 because I'm focusing on other things. So at least it's going to be top 3. The top 3 best workouts to grow those muscles based off science. You know, based off science and all these studies which have been done. And then at the same time, you're going to do the same thing for your diet. You're going to do the same thing for the whole routine. You know, if you're going to be doing, let's say 12 sets, let's say 12 sets in a week, that's like, I would say, a beginner level, right? So you're expecting a certain result from that, scientifically speaking. If you do like 15 sets in a week for each muscle group, that's like an advanced level, correct? And then if you're doing 20 sets, I think 20 sets are usually like the maximum that you kind of want to get to, because I think you're going to start burning out. Easily, most people are going to start burning out at that point. So it's like there are all of these little things that happening in the background. It's more than just putting in the work. You want to put in the work as smartly as possible to get the results that you want to get. So that's how you want to treat everything. You know, whenever you dive into something, man, even if I'm buying something as stupid as headphones, I'm gonna spend so much time on that thing and listen to audio files. I listen to what audio files think about these headphones, like, you know, what's really good about them. Like, you just want to put so much research. You don't want to fast-pace things. You know, a lot of people who fast-pace things, they always mess up. And it's more expensive because if you don't do it right the first time, you're gonna have to spend more time to do it again and potentially spend more money. So, you know, it's better that if you're going to do something, you just do it right. Even if it takes you longer initially, just do it so you don't have to go back and do it again. But a lot of people, they see like Lamborghini on Instagram and they already want to rush that process. So they keep like stumbling for a year, 2 years, 3 years, and they're just chasing. You know, it's more of like chasing than just taking it slow. Just going back to the basics and saying, okay, so let me play the devil's advocate, and maybe I'm not as good as I think I am. Because, you know, a lot of the time people ask me, Vic, can you send me like $50 or like $100? I'm like, bro, you must have the skill to make money and you will not be asking for this money. And then they say, oh no, but I have the skill. I have the skill. I just need the capital, you know, because now you're lying to yourself. You know, you got to play the devil's advocate. Most of the time, those are people just lying to themselves. They're being delusional. And it's the psychological makeup. You know, we all have certain things that we do that we really have to always audit our thinking. You know, how can you tell me that you have the skill if I give you $100, that what are you going to do with $100? You're going to pay me back $100? I don't get it. You know, you would already have this if you had the skill. You know, what are you going to do if I give you a free challenge? You know, a free challenge is like a casino. So what it is I'm doing when I give you a free challenge is I'm giving you an opportunity to maybe win. It's like we go to the casino together and you say, hey, Vic, can you give me $1,000? Then I give you $1,000 and maybe you're going to win. You know, and maybe you're going to double that and it's going to be awesome. But there's a high probability that you're going to lose that free challenge. Unfortunately. So you must seek the education first. You know, if you venture into anything, and I think this is something beautiful about trading that's really going to teach you in everything else in your life, is you're really going to seek education first for the measliest of things. You know, if you're buying matcha, for example, let's say if you want to get into drinking green tea, you're going to get really good at doing that due diligence that trading has taught you to do, that you're going to focus on everything related to matcha. You know, what's the best way to store matcha? You know, what's the best way to make matcha and that sort of thing. And then you start really moving in the right direction properly. Hairline making inverse head and shoulder. RSI confluence on the hairline. Do you think it's a different skill to trade a personal account versus funded accounts? Yes and no. Some people will tell you just follow your strategy. For me personally, I would attack it more aggressively because there's a lot more things going against you than for you. Especially the price points on funded challenges are completely different. So they're not really too favorable. So you kind of want to get the most bomber cloud trades as possible initially. And then, you know, once you have a bit of a buffer, so maybe just to pass the phases, you want to get like really good trades because you can't afford, you know, you can't afford like taking profit too early like this and then having that trade. Maybe it's a trade that passed your phase one for you. So for me, initial phases, I'd rather just hold and see it through till the end. You know, and then once you get funded, you can now start slowly building up your buffer. Well, that's going to be a 5% buffer. You know, I think 5% is pretty good with my strat because I only have a losing streak maybe of 3 trades. But to feel a bit more safe, maybe you can have a 10% buffer and then start withdrawing weekly, anything above 10%. So you definitely do have to approach it a bit differently. So I trade my own capital. So everything that I make is going to be my profit and I don't have to profit split or worry about certain things. So I think that's the upside of trading personal, is you get definitely a lot more freedom. But those fundeds are really nice to scale and take the money out so you can build your personal accounts. Warren Buffett is living longer by drinking those 5 to 6 cans of Coke. Crazy. Man drinks Coke so much and he still is looking healthy. But maybe Warren Buffett is smarter than that, you know? Because look at this. 50 Cent used to pose with bottles in the nightclub, but he never used to drink. You know, just the same way as The Rock sometimes he poses with his tequila brand or, you know, maybe, and then like they don't actually drink it. You know, it's just a business. Like maybe Prime, you know, Logan Paul in his prime. Looks like he's always drinking Prime. Maybe it's just water with a little bit of food coloring in there. Because obviously it's unhealthy for you. Prime has been shown to be unhealthy based off the ingredients inside of it. You know, so maybe Warren Buffett has this Coke can, but maybe it's not really Coke. It's something else. Coke is so bad for you. You can clean a toilet with Coke. Well, it makes a lot of money. Makes a lot of money holding that Coke can. Fake Coke. And what you know, it's not been a bad London session to be honest, but overall sideways. So we're basically back to where we were when we started stream, roughly. Coca-Cola. 200 pips on a short back and sunroof there. Hey, Gioni, thank you for the sub. He prefers Diet or Cherry Coke. Oh, nice. I'm more of a Sprite man myself. I've never really liked Coke. Man, I knew this one kid in high school. He drank so much Coke, but his teeth were messed up. And this guy was addicted to Coke. You know, that was the first time I ever saw addiction. I ever witnessed addiction. Besides just regular high school kids who are addicted to smoking cigarettes. Man, the Coke addiction was something else. I was like, shit. You know, having a healthy lifestyle, you shouldn't take for granted. Because people get addicted to these things. But yeah, I got a nice Sprite Soul is good. Man, I thinking like even smoking cigars is addictive. You know, like how Steve Harvey is addicted to smoking cigars. But you know, smoking one cigar is equivalent to smoking like a pack of cigarettes. You know, so even if you're smoking just one cigar, you might think you're doing better than someone who doesn't smoke cigarettes. But you know, there's a few variables in there. People who smoke cigarettes inhale the smoke. Cigars, you don't really inhale. You kind of like keep in your mouth for a little bit. But it's still like, it's still equivalent to the same amount as a pack of maybe like 20 ciggies. So yeah, definitely gotta do things with dosage. I think everything in moderation is good. You know, people think like trading is gambling. People call trading gambling. You know, gambling is bad. But you know, everything in moderation, I think is okay. Because you know, something's gotta give. Like Steve Harvey says, if you take the cigar away from me, you know, like something's gotta give. And he doesn't drink alcohol. So that's what people look at. That's a psychology of people. Like whenever they do these like things, you know, something's got to give. So man, in trading, you gotta look at that habit. Because you know, when you take a trade, it is like a gamble. You know, to be honest with you guys, it is like a gamble. But you're gambling based off probabilities. When you open a business, it is like a gamble, but you're gambling off probabilities. When you get into your car to go to work, it is a gamble, but you're gambling with probabilities. Correct? So you know, the especially in a market where you have a lot more risk, or in an area you have a lot more risk, you want to take less risk. You know, you want to put yourself less in that environment. Correct? So even if you work with, let's say, alligators, correct? You're not always in the cage with the alligators. You're maybe inside of that cage. The people who work with alligators, throughout the day, they have a schedule when they're gonna go and visit their alligator friends, and you'll show alligators to tourists and stuff. Maybe after he's fed, or maybe a specific time in the day. But they're not in the cage the whole day, correct? Because now they're opening themselves up to risk that they can get eaten by the alligator. It's like the buyers over here. You know, you take a buy over here, and let's say market puts you into profit about 45 pips. You know, the longer you're staying in there, the longer you're giving the market to take back your profits, because usually your best trades such as this, if you're expecting a runner, it could still dip into this level and still skyrocket back upwards. But usually your best trades would just respect certain levels and then just keep going in your favor. So you kind of want to mitigate that risk. So, you know, it's all done in good moderation. You know, if you do things in moderation, it's going to be good for you. If you're gymming every day, your muscles never get a chance to repair themselves. So you're going to be moving backwards by putting more effort. You put more effort, but you're moving backwards. So the same thing in trading. You take more trades, you think you're doing more work, but you're actually moving backwards. I'm in a sell using trendline strategy. Godspeed. I work for Coke. We got free fridges everywhere. We can help ourselves, but I don't drink Coke. Don't get high on your own supply. I like that. Yeah, because now you got to really work on your discipline, because you have an abundance of Coke. You know, you can drink all the Coke that you want. Just like in trading, you can take all the trades that you want. But you know, what differentiates you from a what I want to say, a degenerate, is your ability to not take the trade. You know, they say all your best moves are the ones that you don't take, correct? So I think that's a good thing. A lot of people can interpret that badly. A lot of people are going to interpret that as saying that you're missing a lot of moves in the market. You know, but I think it's a good thing. Lack of sleep also causes dementia. You know, a recent study came out that weed actually causes your brain to age faster. So, you know, there's this things like also with weed. Sometimes people who smoke weed, they think it's like from the earth and that it's good. That's typically what they're going to tell you. It's medicinal. It's a herb. You know, it helps my anxiety. It helps me stay calm. A lot of excuses for a weak mind. Because you really don't need that stuff. Like, weed is one of the most unproductive things I've ever seen. Like, literally, people who smoke weed, then they usually say, oh, what about Wiz Khalifa, you know? What about Snoop Dogg? Man, you can't compare yourself to people who've already put in so much work in their careers. And they were doing shit, you know? They were doing shit with their lives. But if you think you're just gonna come on here and trade and, you know, puff, pass... then you're gonna lose most of the time, because you wouldn't go to work high, would you? So don't trade high. Don't trade on drinks. Doubling my account size tomorrow because I believe I have the skill. Now it's time to invest the capital. Nice. Hello from India. Is there any trade so far? Hello Krishi, welcome. Right now we are just waiting, because there was a few trades. There was a sell right over here to here, and there was a buy from here to here. TFX concepts, but nothing that I really saw that was appetizing for me personally. So I've just been sitting on my hands here. Sitting on my hands, I'm kind of monitoring this daily flip. See how it's like market's considering getting that daily flip. It's flirting with the idea to get the flip in. So we just need to move up. How many more pips here? About, like, you know, 32 more pips. Daily flip, and I think then the daily will have some direction for Monday over here. Hopefully, like, you know, we can keep moving up. But right now we are moving sideways. Resistance, support. Since the pre-London time even. Because, you know, we got our Asia highs here by 33.64. 33.64. And got Asia lows here. And we're right in the middle. Posted in Discord. Let's see. Scaled in on the short scaled trade at BE now. There's a sell on the 1 minute. Oh, this is a sell here. Trend line. trend line. You know that trend line trader? I think who's the most famous trend line trader on YouTube? Isn't it Tory Trades? Tory Trades, most famous trend line trader on, I think, on social media. She's taking what, like 14 trades in the whole year? Man, some of you guys can't even help yourselves to not take 10 trades in a day. You know, and then you want to replicate these other strategies. Man, can you take 14 trades? It is currently August 4th right now. So imagine taking 14 trades in this whole year. And it's already been 8 months into the year. Man, I personally could not do that. You know? But if you're learning from somebody like this, then you have to also be okay with taking a shit ton less trades. But I think people, they can't take less than at least, on average, 5 trades a day. Just the average retail mindset. And this is coming from personal experience, you know. Even me being very cynical about markets when I first started, I found it very difficult to take less than 4 to 5 trades. 4 to 5 trades a day. But the more you trade, the more you realize that you get to a certain ceiling where it's not about learning more. It's about understanding what you already learned and start building good habits. But until you get to that ceiling, you're going to take about 4 or 5 trades a day. You're going to keep over trading. You know, and then once you're going to get here, what typically happens, you get tired of your shit and you get tired too. You get burned out. So once you start getting burned out, you start to slow down a bit more. And it's here in this humble beginnings that you start to see your new higher highs being formed. You know, slowly but surely, with the right pace and the correct sort of perspective now, you're going to keep creating new higher highs and you slowly start to get better. But in the beginning, you're definitely going to overtrade and move really fast. I always take low lots on Mondays. It's just crazy. Blew my account this morning. Did it happen? When I buy, it goes down. When I sell, it goes up. When I hold, it's sideways. Holy. Man, markets gave you whips today. And it had to be on a Monday. That's why people don't like Mondays. Yeah, Mondays that's the worst day to blow an account. Markets were not even trending. Now imagine this risk that you've taken so much risk, but you wouldn't take the same risk when market is, let's say, moving up like this. You know, for some reason, when market's moving up, we always want to do the opposite. You know, we want to sell. Market's moving down, we want to buy. Market's moving sideways, we want to force our challenges and we blow our accounts. So it's always like coming back to psychology. See, like here today, I knew markets were moving sideways. So, you know, I took a buy this morning. Let me see. I took a buy this morning. I lost about 800 bucks, 858 bucks over here. Yeah, about 858 bucks. I took a buy. I'm like, okay. So pre-London is not moving up. Let me sit on my hands here and wait for the market to prove to me now that it wants to actually move in that direction. So I'm not going to force any trades. Even though they've been playing out, I'm still going to sit on my hands. Because if we don't move now, we're going to have a better chance to move during pre-New York or New York Open. And that's what we've been seeing for the most part, the majority part of July. That has exactly been the case. So we're just going to keep doing that. That's what happened to me today. I took 5 trades and I'm down 1.5%. Fortunately, I kept my risk management. That's really awesome risk management. 1.5%, 5 trades, not bad at all. Even if those were full losses, at least you're only down 1.5%. You know, it's not bad. Shivan, thank you for the sub. Less is more. If traders journal, they would know this. Yes. It's only when you actually start journaling that you see that the patterns in your behaviors. You know, in your overtrades and your revenge trades, the days that you revenge trade, you're gonna see it now. But if you don't journal and you think that the C trader is already giving you this data, then you're not gonna have a better perspective. You're still going to be thinking about in terms of monetary gains than actual good habits, building of good habits. So yeah, you must journal. Man, this was a very nice streak of good habits over here that I built for myself. This is like complete locking in. Start off August over here with a loss. With a loss during the pre-London. But that trade would have been a win. The problem was I was too married to my bias that I clouded my judgment with what I was also teaching on Sunday, because I was so focused on these buys, but the markets didn't move. You know, instead they actually gave me the sells and everything that we covered on Sunday. So I should have taken the sell. But you know, it is what it is. We're only human. You cannot not make mistakes. You know, everybody makes mistakes. The idea is you want to make as little mistakes as possible and have more winning decisions that you make out through the day. You know, those are going to make up for your mistakes. Because every day you get an opportunity to have a very productive day. You know, so even if you take a loss on the charts, you can still have winning in other areas of your trading, whether that's going to be waiting for the next trade, developing patience, not rushing the next trade. You can still always turn a losing day into a winning day. If you lost 90% of the time, I have the 110% solution to make this a winning trade. Yeah, I mean, if you're losing most of the time, then you can do the opposite. Metric measure performance. Journaling shows you the reason behind that performance. Journaling helped me to stick to my plan. Oh, nice. Yeah, exactly. And it's, you know, the thing about journaling is if you're going to take 5 trades a day, you're not going to journal. You know, the first trade, maybe you're going to journal. The second trade, you're going to journal. But once you start getting the third trade, journaling feels like admin at that point. You know, so especially depending on how complicated your journal is, sometimes you got notes in there. You're not going to want to journal. And then all that just becomes meaningless. So you're doing all this work, it's becoming robotic and it's meaningless. You know, it's just kind of like, again, when you go to the gym, if you're overstimulating a muscle, you know, your receptors are not going to feed the data anymore to grow muscle. It's just going to be a repetitive exercise, but your freaking receptors already burned out. You know, so you're doing a lot more work, but you're getting less bang for your buck. So, you know, that's how overtrading is like. You're doing a lot more work, but you're getting less bang for your work. So ask yourself the question, would you want to go to the gym a lot more often to see less results? You probably wouldn't. Yeah, but sometimes you have those weird feelings that you can't control and pushes you to absolute disaster. That's why you only think I believe I can control is, yeah, exactly, your risk. Just control what you can't control. Yeah, I take 1 trade per day. If I lose, I journal and close the chart. If I win, I do the same. And then my whole day is time wasting. Nice. If you lose, you journal it, you close the chart. If you win, you journal it, you close the chart. But yeah, I mean, that's it. That's definitely if you're already somehow seeing some progress. I fully agree with that. If you're not yet seeing progress, like if you're still learning, it does pay to put in the 10,000 hours, but don't overtrade. Just do a lot of what we call paper trading. Just look and see how the markets operate. Because, you know, today is a special, it's a unique day here today, you know. Today we dealt with a sideways moving market in gold. And it's not always going to look like this, but the more you look at the chart and you see how it prints, you know, you don't have to take a trade, but you can build that muscle for just remaining disciplined, even whilst looking at the charts, that you know you're not going to take the trade. And man, that's a skill on its own. Just to even show up and know that you're disciplined enough to not feel that you need to take a trade. And then you just watch charts and you see how candlesticks behave, and you put yourself in scenarios, hypothetical scenarios of what you would do or what you think as prices maybe breaking structure, and say, okay, maybe I would have taken a buy here. And then you see that drawdown, this candlestick come down, and say, okay, you know, now you're just observing your feelings. You're getting to know yourself better, basically. So you're like reintroducing yourself to yourself, because of these things that we do that we're not even conscious that we're doing. So it's something that I'm guilty of as well, and I think it's just normal human nature. Is the moment that we see a candle go against us like this, we instantly think that's going to be a losing trade, and then we start saying stuff like, oh, this is going to be a fake out, I'm going to lose that trade. And then sometimes what you actually see end up happening is the candlestick does the complete opposite and starts going in your favor. So, you know, it just gives you an opportunity to learn from situations like that, just showing up into the market without necessarily taking a trade. But yeah, guys, I think I'm going to end off the stream over here. I really do appreciate everyone showing up. Do appreciate the likes. Run up the likes quite nicely. And yeah, I think as of now, there's nothing that looks too good for me. So I'm going to go and take a break and then come back onto the charts maybe later and then see what's happening. But hope you guys enjoy the stream, and I'll see you tomorrow during the London session open. Adios.